Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And this afternoon, I'd like to discuss some things that's been coming up on social media. Not just that, but also that which is coming to my attention. Okay. I've had a few people come to me asking questions, and basically, it's the same old stories. As I've told them, I get this a lot. Okay. It's one of those things that is to be expected, especially when you get into a new religious or philosophical practice. But at the same time, you've also got to look at the ramifications of it. Are you prepared for what you are about to delve into? And a lot of it comes down to fear, especially with all three topics that I put in the box below. So, why don't we get into this and kind of drop down a few things here and kind of walk through it. The occult versus the occult. Okay. The perception, the perception is out of fear. Up until now, it has been the right winged fascists who have controlled the hearts and the minds of the populace. When we look back over the last 1,000 years, from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance, the Holy Wars, the Crusades, right up to the Burning Times, okay, we see that it was the Roman Catholic Church that ran the charge. They were the powerhouse behind the witch trials, the wars that have been raged from European to Asian down into African and so forth, worldwide basically. And a lot of these individuals that did this were more interested in becoming a ruling power. That means anything not of their god is considered of the devil. The old gods were basically corrupted and made into their devils. If you look at the background between the various different entities spoken of within the Bible, you will notice that a lot of them were taken from much older cultures. The sons and daughters of Belial, for an example, came from the Dead Sea Scrolls, the scroll of Amran, to be precise. This this is basically where you see Belial being the leader of the sons and daughters of darkness. Okay, basically the old school devil. Okay, and he was opposed to Michael, the archangel. Okay, and who was the leader of the sons and daughters of light. All right, so Lucifer was taken from the ancient Greek Phosphoros, the day star, and mixed in with the Roman Venus. Okay, the feminine aspects, the child, if you wish, within their perception of him. And it's interesting to see you got 15 different entities spoken of in the Bible. Okay. And if you trace every single one of them back, you will find their origin. Okay. A lot of these origins, like, say, for an example, Satan. Okay. Satan, according to Middle Eastern texts, was a Grigori, a watcher angel. He was the chief of the tens of thousands. He was the chief and head of the first order of angels known as Gorgori. The book of Enoch, for an example, speaks of Azazel, the scapegoat, which later became known as the scapegoat through the Yom Kippur ritual in Hebrewism. So he basically became a devil. Okay, and they all put him all together, especially in mainstream Judeo-Christian institutions' perspectives. But it wasn't until the 16th, 17th century when the poetical text came out. And this was in association with the Vulgate Bible, the very first Bible that the mainstream JCI put out. Satan replaced Beelzebub, okay? Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies, okay? Second in command of the underworld, founder of the Order of the Flies, bestower of the cross of the fly, okay? Now, what's interesting is Beelzebub is even mentioned in the Bible. His name originated through the Canaanite, which was earlier was known as the Chaldeans. Okay, modern day Beirut, Lebanon. Okay, one of the greatest cultures that ever existed. The advancement in astrology, numerology, maps, the road builders, sailing by night. That's right, that culture. I get a lot of respect for them. And no, I do not care if people actually reject that because of modern day warfare. Now, what's interesting to note is that their lord, Baal, means Lord. Okay. This was actually a cross barons, I guess you can call it, into Beelzebub. Okay. Now, what's interesting is like the tree, so too did their Bibles prosper. Okay, you have as many Bibles as there is a branch on a tree. Look at the Jehovah Witnesses. Every time a new text is formed, oh, we're reprinting our Bible. Okay, you see what I mean right there. All right, so a lot of people, when they hear the term Satan or Satanism, witchcraft, they automatically jump to the JCI, the Judo Christian Institution's viewpoint of devil worship. Therefore, you are evil. You are a monster that needs to be stamped out. Even with modern day laws here in the United States of America, even your own personal rights are being trampled on. Because many people today are too lazy, too afraid to do their own homework. I mean, take a look around you, okay? We live in an age where information is at our fingertips, right here on our laptops. Hell, cell phones, okay? Cell phone, okay? Even hell, even smartwatches. But anyways, so we have what is known as the United States Constitution. Even with the legal system getting involved, you have the first, fourth, fifth, sixth, ninth, all the way up into the 14th Amendments, which basically means you don't have to talk to law enforcement. In fact, you don't have to say one fucking word to them. It is the exact same thing when you get on social media. Okay? You go to speak about occultism or you try to promote yourself within a business standpoint. They can't have that because it means you are the adversary and you are challenging the Judeo Christian God. Okay. And therefore, you're the enemy. The First Amendment is based off freedom of speech, but it is also the genetic makeup of what makes up a protected religion, a foundation, followers, and a foundation. Okay, you need a foundation, you need followers, and you need doctrine. Those are the three identifying markers of what makes up a protected religion. Okay, now you take for an example what's going on right now in the United States and Great Britain. Now, I got under YouTube just a little bit ago, and the first video I saw was a video by D.H. Thorne, a good friend of mine, brother. You know, he and I don't really talk much anymore since I left Dark Sorcery, but he is a very well up to date kind of guy. And I found out through his video that How to Become a Living God was taken down off YouTube. And it was based off what happened in Great Britain. Okay. So if the BBC News has the power to condemn through words, all they did was create an accusation. Okay. Just an accusation, which basically put a black mark on How to Become a Living God. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of How to Become a Living God. You know, I got respect for the practitioners that are associated there, but that's about it. Okay, I own a few of their books. I look at it more as a watered down story. Okay, but there is a lot of good information in the books, especially the Book of Darkness. You know, the Book of Baneful Magic. Those are two books that I hold in high esteem. There's a lot of good information there, especially about black magic, sorcery, necromancy, voodoo, and the lot. Okay, especially for practitioners that want to continue their education. Now, I did a video a while back after the article came out about this individual in London who was originally from here in the United States that murdered a couple women in a park at night. Now, according to the BBC News, they found occult, style propaganda. They got underneath his laptop and found that he was on the link that was associated to EA Quetting. Now, they even said, and I quote, "We reached out to Paul. No reply." Did you ever stop to think that they didn't want to get involved? No, you didn't. You assumed they were hiding something. But a lot of people, like I said, they don't look at the facts. This individual is clearly disturbed, and they looked at it from an occult perspective when they should have been looking at it from the cult. CULT, not OCCULT. You see, if they had actually done that, then they would realize there's a huge difference. Humanity never learns from history. That's why they are condemned to repeat the same shit every fucking day. Okay? They never learn. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So we are looking at this a couple months down the road now, and EA Quetting's YouTube videos have been taken down. His entire channel has been shut down. And people are just looking around. They're just going with it. Why? Because they don't want that black mark. That is guilty by association type thing. Now, whatever happened to the legal system to protect religions that states innocent until proven guilty. Okay, innocent until proven guilty. Now you notice I mentioned legal aspects earlier, and this is where this applies. You see, you have the right not to talk to law enforcement. In fact, you have a right to remain silent. They even state this to you, but they intimidate you. They force their way onto you. Why? You can lie, they can lie to you, but you're not allowed to lie to them. And this is why a lot of officers today here in the United States are getting anally invaded by people recording every encounter with them. And I guarantee it, it's not just here. It's most likely worldwide because they think that they can get away with it just because they go to a Christian church. It's all brainwashing. Now, when you get into the occult, you're going to be studying, you're going to be trying to better yourself. This means that you're going to be delving into the scriptures, you're going to be delving into the various religions worldwide, both left hand and right hand paths. You're going to be tracing the roots of the deities that you serve or that interest you into which you want to work with. And it's interesting because of the fact that the world doesn't know this. They think just because you hold the title Satanist that you practice Satanism or necromancy, that you are of the devil. Therefore, if you look at Facebook, YouTube, how many times have they updated their community standards from a legal perspective? Okay. You see, these companies are protected by what is known as the Ramsey Law. The Ramsey Law allows them to dictate what you wear, how you speak, and most importantly, how you act. However, it does not permit them to violate your legal rights. Facebook is doing this right now because of the fact that they are trying to limit anyone who is not a Christian. I know for a fact that they have already been attacking witchcraft, Wiccan, pagan groups, satanic groups, and individuals who aren't in these groups. They've attacked me once. Okay. They attacked me once and they gave me a 24-hour ban on something that was educational. Educational. Now, my accounts are set up based off education. And yet, Facebook, their computer, flagged my stuff. There is nothing wrong with my stuff. In fact, it is well within their parameters of their community guideline rules. Okay. But I don't get on Facebook that much these days, so I've been considering just deleting the app. If it wasn't for a friend of mine who wanted me to do a black mass on his page, which is only on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Facebook rather, I wouldn't have reactivated it. But it was for his page, his little baby, known as Shadow Zone. So I reactivated it and to do that. Unfortunately, I forgot to activate my camera and give the damn app permission to get on my camera to use my camera in voice recordings. So it's pretty bad when you actually have to give a computer app permission to do something. That's how paranoid people are today. So, I mean, when we look at the occult versus a cult, do your homework instead of freaking out. Oh my God, this person committed murder. he was on the how to become a living god, forum. It's like, who cares? Do you sensitize yourself when you get on Google? If you Google anything that was associated with a serial killer, for an example, let's say for an example, Craigslist. A few years back, there was a guy going around killing prostitutes, and he found them on Craigslist. Now, why is it that nobody, even with all the news articles put out about it, why didn't anybody why didn't anybody shut down Craigslist on social media? Hmm. In fact, with all the political upheaval, the criminal charges against Donald Trump, why didn't anybody shut down all of his forums? Hmm. In fact, why didn't they shut down the TV crews? Guilty by association. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's because they're Christian. Plus, if you get a lot of money like Trump, guess what? You get away with murder anyways. So, what is a cult? A cult is an extremist group that literally, it's like a prison. Look at Waco. Prime example. Did we learn from that? Nope. Government officials still surround places like these and accuse them of barbaric rites and rituals. Hell, even Rose McGowan, the actress, actually came from a Christian cult. And she did a TV series on witchcraft called Charmed. Remember that TV show? Hmm, interesting. So you see a huge difference between the occult and a cult. One's made for bettering the self, gaining insight into the arcane, and the other one is more humanized. Things like criminal activities. But yet, people, when they see this, they automatically go for the occult. Why? Because they've been brainwashed into believing this. Even to this day, I'm still dealing with my own family, okay, in this area because of the fact that you try to explain it to them, their eyes just glaze over. Okay, they just glaze over. They don't understand it because they've been brainwashed into believing the JCI, the Judo Christian Institution, bullshit and false dogma. Okay, and even if you bring up their own Bible, they become hostile. Why? Because it's an emotional reaction. It's okay for them to attack you and your beliefs, but wait, they get butthurt when you do the same to them. Okay, except for if you're smart about it, you use their own Bible against them. Okay. And I pulled up a whole bunch of things right from the Bible, the Old Testament to the New Testament, human animal sacrificing to coveting, the violations of the Ten Commandments, the whole kinkaboodle, you know, even incest is in there. And it's funny as all hell because they'll sit there and they'll renounce you. They'll recant you and say, you are of the devil, be gone. You're of Satan, be gone. Because they can't comprehend the truth. Okay. And even if you skip the Bible and you bring up history and mythology, not just archaeology, they still got butthurt and they shut down and flee. I've had Christians where they look at me and say, I've never met anyone like you. You're not intimidated by us. You sit there and you know our Bible better than we do, or just as well as we do. And most importantly, you stand your ground. Never met anyone like you. That's because I bring in the legal system. I bring in the actual knowledge and I give it to them from various different sources. Things like the Zohar, the Jewish Haggadah, the Talmud, the Munich manuscripts, the Dead Sea Scrolls. These are all things where they got their so-called Bible from. But you can even go in further than that and go into the regions. You can go into everything from the traditions of where they were at the time that such and such a topic came in and bring that up. Why did the church order the Romans, legions, to kill off the Druids after waging war for years against the people? It's because they couldn't defeat the people because of their faith in the Druids. So they engaged the people over here and snuck over here and killed the Druids. But wait, let's go a few centuries later. Now we're in Russia. Now they're attacking the hearts and minds of the people, undermining the deities of the pagans and practitioners of the arcane, making things illegal. And here we are today where they go hand in hand, literally are intermingled just like the African Caribbean traditions. So yeah, you're seeing a huge difference of corruption here. In the 11th century to the 14th century, we had the witch trials. From the 16th century forward, we've had the burning times, the witch hunts. The late 80s to early 90s, we had the satanic panic. Has anything changed? No. The church is still on that crusade, trying to exterminate and submit others to their whims. My way or the highway. You either submit or you die. You do nothing. Even when you get on social media, when's the last time you had a Satanist on a interview? What about a Wiccan or a pagan? No. Instead, you get a Christian that opens up a church. They get all the interviews and all the gigs. But yet, when you open up a satanic temple, church, or organization, where's the news? You have the Satanic Temple, which came in and made a huge splash, just like Anton Zandalove. That's literally the last time anybody's been interviewed. And what's interesting to note on that aspect is it's only Lucian Graves that gets interviewed. No one else. Is it because they're more popular? Because they made that splash? But yet they're out there suing everybody left and right. This, that, and whatever. For their members. While claiming, oh, we're doing this for the entire community. Really? Then why are you doing that double standard and saying, hey, we feel you're violating our members' rights, so we're suing your ass? You know what I'm saying? Same exact thing. Same exact thing. If you're not a part of one of these type of groups, it's a big fuck you. This is a cult right there. That is a cult. They always come in, even the government is doing this. Oh, we need to support the elderly. We need to support these religious groups. I don't see people getting sworn into office with a satanic Bible. I don't see somebody getting that's non-Christian being indoctrinated into the government seats, such as the Senate or the White House. Just saying. Is Christianity not considered to be an occult? It is. So, with that said, before you make accusations and do something that will get you legally sued, you may want to do your homework and learn the difference between the cult and the occult. I guarantee it, and I'm going to predict this, is down the road you're going to see EA Wedding and How to Become a Living God come back. Namely because I think they're too stubborn to sit back and do nothing. There's already videos on YouTube that state he's in the deep dark web. That should be fun to see. So let's go on to the second topic. Issues living in fear. Okay. And this is going to be coming from two different sources here. And I'm going to put the second and third one together, and this is why. This is something that is not uncommon. It's something that I've heard time and time again. You have people leaving the church and coming into the left hand path. I've had apprentices that come in and say, I'm afraid to do this. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I've been told this, I've been told that, I've been led to believe this and that, but I'm afraid. So, what I do is I always give them sources to read. Go out and purchase these books. Number one, let's say, for an example, you're Cuban or Latin, okay, and heritage somewhere, either Portuguese, Central American, South American, whatever. You may want to look into the African Caribbean traditions like Palo Monte, or Palo Mayombe. Get into Brujeria, Kimbiza, Quimbanda or Umbanda. Get if you're into if you're African American or worldwide. Once you get into Voodoo, I recommend Haitian Voodoo to you or African based Voodoo from Benin, Ethiopia, Malawi, areas like that, because of the fact that they're more pure in sources. So, I mean, even if you are, a white guy or even a Native American, Indian aspect like myself, you're going to find it very, very hard to get into these, to get into these traditions because of the fact that you're not Hispanic, you're not black, you're not black. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not trying to be racist here. It's just as you got all these legalized terms that you got to go by these days. Otherwise, somebody gets butthurt over it, and it's funny because of the fact that, I mean, what happened to being all about the knowledge and spiritual matters? You know what I'm saying? So when you get into these traditions, you're going to notice that you have to work 10 times harder to prove that you're worthy of working with the Loa or the Orisha. Okay. And it's stupid, really, because of the fact that in the past, just about anybody could have learned this stuff. 300 years ago, 400 years ago, you could have learned from one of these priests or priestesses within these traditions. Nowadays, it's all about race. It's about creed. You can't practice voodoo because you're not black, or you have to be initiated into the Caribbean traditions. Otherwise, you're not permitted to learn. But wait for it. You got terms. You got terms like Bokor, Marimberos, that basically translates into you are an uninitiated practitioner. Okay. Now, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass on that aspect because of the fact that there's a lot of different views that go into them. The point is that when you've grown up in a church setting, you basically don't have a choice on what you believe. Okay. In fact, you don't even get a normal childhood. Okay. You don't get to grow up, learning for other traditions or getting to know other traditions because of, or even other cultures, because you're indoctrinated by birth into the church. I mean, think about this for just a minute. Is this not considered a cult? How is this not considered human trafficking? Enslavement, even. Think about that for just a minute. Number one, when you're born into a Christian household, you're baptized into that church. You grow up into their beliefs and their ways, their methods. You don't even get a chance to experience anybody else's, any other tradition. And when you come of age and you start dating or getting married, you get shipped off to another country. Another country. Sometimes you have to move across country to somebody who belongs to what is known as a sister or a brother church. It's kind of like a federal bank, if you wish. If you go to a federal credit union, you can go to any federal credit union and say, I belong to such and such a bank, it's shared branching, I want to get into it. Okay, I got to move some money around. Well, it's the exact same outlook, just with people. They send their daughters off to wherever, Timbuktu, so they get married and continue on the Christian way. This is human trafficking. It's child abuse because they hit you with rulers. They label you as a number. I mean, people are, still reeling from Adolf Hitler. Okay, think about this for just a minute. When you go into an internment camp, you get branded. Okay, branded. That means a serial number burnt into your flesh. And yet the Catholics label you just like the Nazarenes do as a number. As a number. They make you spend 10% of your hard-earned cash just to support a lazy minister that doesn't want to get off his ass and preach and get a job. And it's like, come on, you preach 3 times a week, twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday. Interesting. And these people, this entire congregation wants to pay you up to $22,000 in a month. That's like having an elder, the founder of a cult like Waco or wherever, choosing who you get to marry, who you where you get to live. People go with it though. But wait, if anybody outside of Christianity does this, you have to go to federal court or you get arrested and labeled whatever. I mean, you got Islam and people who study Islamic traditions right here in the United States and worldwide. Okay. If we go into the Middle East, you got people marrying women as young as 8 years old. How is that not, how are these people not put on a sex offender registry? Or how about the fact that they can abuse their women and children, even in the mainstream, Christian churches, and they don't get arrested for assault, battery of a wife, their wives, child abuse charges. Why isn't it DHS or Child Protective Services getting involved in this stuff? Oh, that's right. They're Christians. but yet anybody else does this. I mean, I've personally seen Baptist white guy take their his I'm going to call him a mocha son because his wife was African American, and they had a child together. This kid was roughly about 7 years old. Took him in the back and beat him with a belt, a leather belt. He just stood up, took his belt off, took the kid by the hand, took him into the back. Yeah, I saw this personally when I was learning to become a minister. So think about this for just a moment. Isn't it a little two-faced, discriminatory? You have religious discrimination. You have the suppression of your right for freedom of speech and to practice the religion that you practice, but yet it's okay for one, but no one else. You see, this is the type of thing that is brainwashed into people. Okay, so when they literally wake up and it's like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want to do this shit no more. So I'm going to look into Wiccan. I'm going to look into paganism. I'm going to look into Satanism. They gain a little bit of knowledge, but they're still holding back. They're holding that leg almost like an anchor behind them because they're afraid because they've already been screwed over by the church. What if this happens in this new religion? Well, let's take a look at this for an example. I had an apprentice that spent most of his life believing in the church. When he reached out to me, I looked at him. I looked at him while we were talking on a face chat, Facebook video. Not really sure what they refer to it as, and if it's face talk or whatever the hell it's called. You know, I asked him. I said, "You're Cuban, Puerto Rican, right?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Have you considered these traditions?" I gave him some books to order. He did, and he begun asking questions after he read them. He wanted to do some rituals and set up an altar in honor of the Orisha. I gave him pointers on it. We're a year, about roughly about a year later, year and a half later, and he sees a huge difference in himself, and it shows. He left his job, got it. He's been able to travel. I mean, we're talking about a guy in his late 60s. Okay, about what I'm saying. So he's been traveling the world. In fact, he just won $200 plus $200 plus at a casino. Okay, and the spirit, and he's close to his spirits. He's close to his spirits. He's working with demons. He's working with the Orisha. He's working with Santa Morte, the beloved death. Okay, because he's now in touch with his background. He's in touch with his heritage, and he's happy. He's not weighed down by guilt or false perceptions, false dogmas. He's literally put the work in. He's happy. And it's not just him. I mean, I've had people come to me for advice, for guidance, and I've given it. Okay, I've had people pay me for for divination services where I've given them a huge reading. Okay, and I let them ask as many questions as they want. I had one of them still contacts me to this day. And it's funny because of the fact that he said these people, his own people, okay, African Americans who are into voodoo, they paid he paid a certain price, 300 for a reading, and they're charging him an extra 50 to $150 per question. He said, "You gave me one price, and I've asked you, I don't know how many questions, and you never charged me anything more than that one price." This guy, he's gotten away from most of the drama. There's still a little bit of an entrail there, but he's moving on with his life. He's leaving that baggage behind, and he's starting to prosper with it. Now, when you get into the left hand path, you don't have this kind of knowledge. You don't have this kind of insight. This is something that you got to work for. A lot of people think everything is going to be given to you, like in the JCI. The answer is no. You see, you're going to pick up the books. You're the one that's going to learn from an elder. Okay, depending on the tradition, you're the one that has to not only experiment with it, erect the altar, get to know the currents in the spirits that you're wanting to work with. You're the one that's actually got to start applying that gnosis into applications of rituals and rites. No one else can do it for you. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that this is a path of herd conformity. This is not a path of the herd. This is a path of the individual. Okay? This is the path of the individual. Okay? And I do apologize. People are trying to contact me on my cell phone right now. Should have turned down the volume. And yes, Brian, for EA was his platform was literally taken down today. You can still find his some of his videos on YouTube. So, like I said, I guarantee it, he'll be back. But I got no love for the guy. I respect him as a fellow practitioner, and like I said, I did learn a few things from him, even though I've been a practitioner for 32 years. That a lot of misconceptions is that once you've read a book, a lot of these newbies that get into Satanism start off with Anton Zane de LaVey's Satanic Bible. They get into the Satanic Rituals book, and done. I'm a master of darkness. I'm a lord of darkness. Bullshit. You're an amateur. Okay? You want to welcome to the new age. That's all I got to say. Some of us older practitioners, we where you literally have to go out and do the work. That means if you have to sit there and travel 2,995 miles to learn from a guru, that's something you got to do. And if a spirit tells you to go to someplace, you do it. You walk by faith, not by sight. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Okay? And it's interesting because of the fact that I can't tell you how much money I have just blown on books over these. How much money I have blown traversing this country, South America, Central America, and Canada, going to these gurus, traveling to where these spirits wanted me to go. I guarantee it, if you put all the money together, it's going to be at least 10,000 plus dollars. I've had one library destroyed. I've literally stood against the JCI in what is known as the Bible Belt, which is the southern United States, and I made them look like fools because I know my shit. I've done my homework. I've been around a long time. I made enemies, and you will make enemies. It comes down to how you handle them and how you want to be seen. Which is why I tell people, and I definitely tell my apprentices this: whatever you preach, always back it up. Okay, back it up with numerous sources. Now, consider this: I have this one enemy that's been talking smack and photoshopping my face on somebody else's photo. And yes, I'm aware of it. I just don't give a shit. Doesn't bother me one bit. In fact, I find it humorous. And I have prospered because of it. And he's too stupid to realize it. So, what's interesting here is this guy's been slandering me since I joined the cabal. Okay, we used to be friends on Facebook. Everything was all good until a whole bunch of emails started associating, and he went off on the deep end. Instead of reaching out and say, "Hey, did you send me this?" No. It's funny because his story keeps changing. His he literally changes faster than the tides. Okay, and it's funny. Everybody sees him as a fake. He is a fake. So it's really a shame that he doesn't want to wise up and learn. He takes credit for things he had nothing to do with, and people are tired of his shit. So it's funny as all hell because when people come to me, I just take I've got photos upon photos. Okay, let's just say I have a good 2 to 3 years worth of photos of conversations with this guy. So instead of getting into the debate with these people that come to me asking about, he's saying this, that, and whatever. Well, about you. It's like, yeah, well, here's my dealings with him. You see, it's something I learned from S. Connolly. If you ever heard of S. Connolly, she is a demonolator. Okay. And she owns her own publishing company. She's written, I don't know how many books now. And I had a conversation with her one day, and I said, I'm kind of tired of repeating myself to these newbies. How do you do it? And she said, I simply share my videos. Why speak the same words over and over again when you can just simply share a video? So I looked at it as, you know what, instead of repeating myself to these people that come to me, here's my entire conversation with this dumbass. This is my conversation. This is my dealings with him. Where did I disrespect him? Where was I rude to him? Where did I attack him? You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. And you know what they do after reading it? What a loser. What a dumbass. I can't believe I ever watched his stuff or, had I don't want nothing to do with this guy no more. Because they've realized, holy crap, I believed in a lie. Okay. And this is stuff that you will most likely deal with when you get into any of these left-hand path traditions. Like I said, 99 to about yeah, I'd say about 98 to 99% is going to be all good. Let's say, for example, 98% will be all good. 1% is people that they're aware of you, but they don't want nothing to do with you. They either don't want to learn or they think you're violating their rules of some sort and they'll block you. Okay. Or they just don't want to deal with the drama. If somebody comes to them and says, "Hey, this is going on, yada yada yada, this is the background, yada yada yada," they're gonna ban and block you. Don't get discouraged by this. That 1% is going to do this because they want to live in drama. Okay? It has nothing to do with you outside of them being envious of you, your growth, your maturity within your path. Because the gods, the spirits, even the traditions of your path as an individual is benefiting you. You're evolving. They can't handle it because they see it as, why is the spirits blessing you and not them? They don't take the time to stop and realize it's because I'm stagnant. You are stagnant. You're not doing the work. You're not applying yourself and you're not experimenting and trying to better yourself. You're staying stuck in the mud. Okay? So when we get into these traditions and you're new to them, the best thing that you can do when you look at your heritage, when you look at the paths that interest you, get the works. Who gives a shit what people think? Okay? Because I will tell you this right off the bat. It's not about them. It's about you. Where your path leads you, is not where it's going to lead them. Your path and your path alone is yours. Okay? Do not let these asshats get to you. They have nothing good for you. So drop them like a bad habit. Ban them, block them, whatever. I don't care. I don't give a shit how many fucking profiles they have. Delete them all. Block them all. All they're doing is bringing an anchor to your door. Michelle Belanger wrote a book called Psychic Vampirism, psychic vampires. This book was very intellectual, and it literally went hand in hand with what Anton Szandor LaVey stated. These people are only there to drain your energy. They're there just to take, and take, and never give back. These are the same two-faced people that will speak kind words to you, blessing your ass, and then turn it around and blast it with curses and hate. And yes, I've had those myself. So, like I said, you're not the only one. But there is nothing to fear for getting into these traditions. In fact, it shows courage and integrity for you to even get into them, to learn and to grow. You want to master these traditions? Read, write, study, and learn. I recommend a notebook, a journal, and a grimoire. Okay? And if you feel like joining a coven, get a black book for that, for the entire coven to go by. The grimoire is just a small book that is copied from that black book. Okay, think of the black book as the final draft. Okay, that you're turning into your professor. The grimoire is simply a copy of that. And the journals is your personalized experience within your tradition through your rituals, your rites, your meditations, your experiments, the whole kit and caboodle. Now, Alistair Knott will even tell you this, is that, and I know he just recently did a couple things on alchemy, video wise. And he broke it down pretty good, actually. I was actually impressed with how he broke it down. Is when you think of alchemy, think of it like chemistry. Okay, how do you perfect your elixir? Okay, how do you perfect it? Something like that. Either spell work, your elixir, your herbs, your recipes, stuff like that. You have to experiment, right? This is what goes on in your journal. Okay, you can have a dream journal, a meditation journal, you can have a ritual journal. As many journals as you feel comfortable having for each topic, if you wish. What I would recommend doing is writing it down. That way, if anything needs to be critiqued, you can do it. Okay? But people, let me put it to you this way. I saw a post a while back and I really loved that saying is, and I don't, and some people here are going to get a little butthurt over this, but I don't give a shit. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. Okay? Everybody's got an opinion. All right? Just like they have assholes. I love that saying. I don't know who came up with it originally, but I found it on Facebook and I thought it was funny as all hell because it speaks truth. The opinion comes down to you. If it works for you, awesome. If not, critique it. Figure out what's not working and fix it. Okay? But keep in mind that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? That's the only thing. But when it comes down to being new, you're not expected to know everything. You may even feel reserved because of your past affiliations. Think of it like a snake. You need to shed your skin to grow. Same thing. When you grow, you're going to shed your skin some more. Think of it as the alchemical metamorphosis. You're growing more powerful, you're changing and evolving through your rituals, your rites, and your conjugation with the spirits, okay, that you choose to work with. This path is not for everyone, and it may take you some time to find your path. It's taken me 32 years traversing many different paths before I found necromancy. And recently I found Brugeria. Okay. So I mean, you can take it from somebody who's been around for 32 years. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am. I've been an ordained minister since 2013. That's 20 years of study, practice, journey, traversing countries, learning from practitioners, paying out boko loads of money, only to learn that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on books. You just simply need to know what books has all most of the answers that you need just to begin your journey. The rest is up to you. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and a lot of people fear living a life as a practitioner of the left hand path, be it a witch, a pagan, a Wiccan, a Satanist, whatever, you know. And I recommend a book by Brother Nero, and it's called Satanism for the Beginners. And this book I thought was very, very well written. I wish I had this book when I first began because of the fact that he really breaks it down into what it's like to live a life as a Satanist in modern day. You have to deal with CPS, you have to deal with family, you have to deal with your communities, and he literally shows you how to deal with them, and he teaches you how to deal with them. And it's amazing to see his level of insight into this. And I know a lot of people hate him because supposedly he broke his oath to the Cathedral of the Black Goat. But this man literally, it's his only book that he wrote, at least that I'm aware of. But his level of in-depth enlightenment and gnosis within this book will help and guide you from beginner to advanced. Plain and simple. I mean, I also recommend Christopher Penziak's books, the Temple series, to people. There's no rituals in there. There is a couple of how should I say this? Meditational exercises that really are enlightening and they work, especially when you apply yourself to them. But outside of that, his books are filled with so much knowledge. You know, you go into Asenath Mason's work, you know, the Temple of the Twin Flame, you know, what was it, the Twin Flame? I think so. Yeah, it's the Temple of Ascending Flame, I think. Yeah, her and her husband, Bill Duvendak. Lot of good history and mythology in their books. They've done an awesome job in those books, and I give them high praise. You know, so I mean, there are practitioners out there who have written books that will help you, will guide you to sources. I mean, if it wasn't for the apostolics, I wouldn't have picked up on something from the Necromyicon, and that was actually the journey of the Mad Arab, pages 7 through 12. These five little pages showed the journey and the time of the year that he began his journey through Mesopotamia, through Syriac and Babylonian and Akkadian, all the way down into Greek and Roman. And it's funny because of the fact that you also see the zodiac, the planetary spheres, and all that stuff being introduced just into those five little pages. And it was something that was read. It was a passage that was read, and it got me thinking about it. So I went back in and I was reading down through it, and it was like, God damn, I can't believe I've read this book like 25 times. I've had at least five different Necromyicons by Simon, And here I am on my fifth or sixth book because I've worn them right out to the point where the pages fall out. The bindings are shredded or whatever you want to call it, bent all to hell because I've read them so many times. And this is the first time realizing that these these 5 pages hold the entire where he started from and where he ended up and what time of the year. I He dealt with the seasons. He dealt with the planetary aspects, zodiacs, astronomy, numerology, you name it. It's in those 5 pages. So it was like that was an enlightening moment. So, like I said, don't get discouraged because you're new. Okay, don't let other people sway you to their way of thinking. Seek it, take it what they say with a grain of salt. Okay, do your own homework, delve into it, and then reply. Okay. I posted an article once in a pagan group based off the term warlock. I went through the etymology, through the regions of European all the way down into Africa. Okay. And basically got gang banged by other members of that group. Okay. And I basically kept my cool and I did what I needed to. I stated the sources and said, go delve into them yourself. But like Christians, these people were only interested in the drama. They were only interested in the brainwashing terminologies that they were led to believe in. Okay. But it's interesting because once you decide to make that decision to step up and defend yourself, you're the one ending up with your ass in the slammer, so to speak. Okay. You will get banned and you will get blocked from those groups. Don't sweat it. There's more candy in that candy store, so to speak. It says more about them than you. The fact that you're willing to do your homework, the fact that you're willing to apply that homework to try to share with others is good. Don't let anybody else persuade you. Just do your own thing. Be you. Just be you. Plain and simple. So I want to thank Pharaoh Stiller X, Gabriel Fisher, Brian Forsey for jumping on here with me. For those of you who they are coming on. I hope this has helped you out a lot. I hope that you actually do your homework, learn from it, and basically learn from history. I'm going to leave you with a couple proverbs. A man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. Okay? Those two proverbs go hand in hand. Okay? But also remember the witch's creed, the witch's oath, the witch's pyramid. Same exact thing. They're one and the same. Okay? I want you to keep in mind what they stand for. To know, to dare, to will, to keep silent, and to go forth. Okay? Know thyself and know thy craft. Dare to step out of the shadows. Okay? Dare to speak truth. Okay? That means backing things up with multiple sources, showing that you know your shit. Okay? And then willing yourself to go forth. Okay? Those are the three main things right there. But also to keep silent because there are some people that will never be ready for what you have to offer. Okay. So you may want to keep silent on that as well when you get around these people. And you will have that intuition when you get that gut feeling about somebody. Stick to that gut and trust it. Okay. Because they could be the scorpion to the frog or to the fox, depending on the version of that story that you wish. The scorpion will always sting you. Okay. If they betray you once, twice, you can damn well bet they're going to do it a third time. Okay. These are psychic vampires that you don't need in your life. So remove them. Okay. And finally, go forth with your knowledge, because you are now a keeper of the secrets. You are a keeper of the knowledge. In the European traditions, this is known as witches and warlocks. They are the keepers of the secrets. This means medical, herbalism, you name it. They had it. It's now your turn. All right. So have a good day, and until next time.